Hello everybody and welcome back to On the Creek. Today's video we're going to be doing the conclusion to our live bait storage over the winter, specifically worms. We did an experiment where I had 9 worms in this bin. We put them in there in November and we tried to see if we could keep them alive over the winter time. If you like these types of videos and you like gear reviews, tips and tricks, and fishing videos, then you're in the right spot. I encourage you to check out my channel and subscribe, turn the notifications on so we post new videos, and share this video. Do me a favor, share this video. When I hit 500 subscribers, which is my goal this year, I would like to be at 500 subscribers by the end of 2020, I'm going to give away the location where you can go find it and fish at one of my top secret spots to fish for catfish in southeast Michigan. It's in Monroe County, so please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it around with your friends. Get the word out that I'm going to give away one of my best fishing spots. That's a huge no-no. Everyone keeps them secret, but you guys help me get to the viewers. I'm going to help you guys find the fish. So let's get into the video. Okay guys, so it's the middle of April and spring has sprung. I'm gonna start fishing again here pretty regularly, and I'm ending the experiment for my worm storage. On November 14th, I put 9 worms in this bin and I tried to keep them long-term over the winter. I have a lot of times where I buy worms and they go bad or they die, they mold. Even in the refrigerator, you can keep them for some periods of time, but eventually they're gonna die if they're not fed. So I tried to create a worm habitat that I can keep long term. And we're gonna see how I did. And if I did well, I actually have some left over from my first fishing trip. And the 9 worms that are in here, I'm gonna see if they bred and created more worms, which would be even better, as if not only can I keep worms, but then I can add to my worm stock over the winter. And then also I'm gonna be using this in the summertime to store worms, rather than in the refrigerator in the container, because I can keep them for a longer period of time, which means that I can go to the bait shop and buy 100 at a time. I can put them in here and they'll live happy until I use them for fishing. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look inside the bin here and see how we did. As you can see, it's in pretty rough shape. I've got some lettuce in there. That's what they've been eating on. Let's see if we can find one that's alive. There's one right there. Let's see. Yep, he's alive. So I did add a little bit too much water to this soil. So my goal is to dry it out a little bit. I've got some leaves in a bucket with some sticks. We're gonna be adding that in there. I've got some paper that we're gonna shred up here, and we're gonna make it real nice. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I have a bucket here. It's empty, as you can see, but I'm gonna put the contents in its entirety in the bucket so I can really stir this around. I wanna get this dirt dried out, and in order to do that, I need to get all this out, put some dry ingredients in, and then I'm gonna put the dirt back on top. It'll give the water somewhere to settle to, and it'll give the worms some good home to live in. So first things first, let's dump this in the bucket. Okay, so I attempted to dump the dirt into the bucket, but it's really stuck in there. So I'm gonna put some gloves on, and I think I'm gonna get my hands dirty. Okay, so I took all the worms out of this container and I put them in this bucket. The first thing you notice is the dirt's a little stinky. There's some mold in there. There's definitely some lettuce in there that's still decomposing, but that's what they eat, so I assume that that's okay. But every worm that I found, I didn't find any dead worms. We'll do a final count to see how many actually survived as I bring the dirt out of this and put it back in here. I want to add the roughage first, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these leaves and sticks and I'm going to put it here in the bottom and make kind of a dry, fresh bed for them of leaves and sticks and some wood. That's going to help them, I believe. Piece of bark. All right, that should be enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this bucket and I'm going to take all the live worms that I find and stick them in here, and I'm going to take the dirt and put the dirt back on top of this here. This layer is going to actually be at the bottom of our worm house for them to get into if they want to get out of the dirt. So I'm going to get that done and then we'll pick back up from there. Okay, so I put in the leaves in the bottom. I re-added the dirt. I added some of this vegetation. I didn't add all of it because there was still plenty of stuff in here that they were working on. We are going to now count how many worms I have left. When I was putting this in, we found some little white larvae, and there's still little larvae crawling around in here. I don't know if that's a different type of bug or if that is worm larvae. I've never seen worm larvae before, so we're gonna leave it be. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's little white bugs in there. I don't know if that's worm larvae. The next thing we're gonna do is let's count these worms out and see how many we have that survived over the winter and see if we have any more than we started with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I only count 8 when I counted 9 going in. Either I missed a worm in a clump of dirt, one escaped, or one died and decomposed. Out of 9 worms, only getting 8 out of the deal, I still think that's pretty good. These guys look pretty healthy. They're wiggling around pretty good. They seem to be happy. So I'd say that our experiment here is a success. I am going to be using this probably from now on, and I might even get a bigger container to do this on a bigger scale. We got to see what I can find at the dollar store. I got to see if I can find another container and set it up with the holes. So this is definitely going to be my new method for storing worms over the winter and throughout the summer. It was pretty easy. I fed them a couple of times this winter. There was actually a big stretch where they just were in the closet. I put some carrots and some paper in there and let them go to town, and they just did their thing. I didn't check on them, and I thought, oh great, they're gonna all be dead. I kind of got lazy, but you know what? They all survived except for one. I don't know what happened to the one. Like I said, he could have escaped. Maybe I wasn't paying attention when I was checking and he got out and he crawled around and the dog ate him or something. So I don't know, but I'm pretty happy with this, and I definitely suggest if you're the type of fisherman like me and you like to buy worms and use worms, this is going to be a great way for me to keep them alive, happy, and healthy, and ready to catch fish or die trying. So I'm going to shred up some of this paper now and put it over the top, and then after that I'm going to add these worms that I have left over from my first fishing trip into it. So I'll be right back. Let's get this done. Okay, so I got the paper cut up in there, and they're starting to burrow in. I've got these leftover worms. Let's add them to the pile. Now the reason that I'm adding these worms into here is because they've already been in this container for a couple of weeks, and I think that I'm going to be getting in the limit to where they can stay healthy. So I'm just checking to make sure that all the worms are gone. They are. Now I'm going to be keeping this container, and what I'll do is when I plan on going fishing for a couple of days, I'll get out and I'll dig through this and I'll get some worms out and I'll put them in here to make my fishing a little easier. I'm not going to be trying to dig through this while I'm fishing. So I'll put the lid back on this, and back into the closet they'll go. Hopefully to stay happy and healthy. And there we go. That's it for today. Thanks for watching On the Creek, and I hope that you got some information from this to help you in your fishing adventures. And remember, guys, get out and live. Make sure that you get out there and do something for yourself. Catch you next time here at On the Creek.